As a major research institution, Arizona State University offers the most online bachelor's degree programs, along with world-class faculty and dedicated support. Discover why ASU is ranked #1 in innovation for 8 consecutive years. Tap to learn more.
Coming up next, our final news roundup and information overload hour.
All right, news roundup, information overload hour. Our toll-free number. We'll get to your calls this hour as well. 800-941-SEAN if you want to be a part of the program. If you're just getting in your car, you're out of work. A Delaware federal prosecutor by the name of David Weiss, yes, the David Weiss, has been named as the federal prosecutor, a special counsel rather, to investigate the Biden scandal. But this is the guy that cut the deal with Hunter Biden in the first place. By the way, that deal now is officially blown up. Hunter will be going to trial in Delaware thanks to that judge that caught, that provision that would have prevented any further charges from this time period from ever being brought against Hunter, beyond a slap on the wrist, beyond special preferential treatment. Weiss, remember, according to the IRS whistleblowers, lied. Either they lied or Garland and Weiss lied. Did Weiss have the authority to pursue other venues? Weiss and Garland say yes. IRS whistleblowers say, not even close. I'm talking about Gary Shapley and Joseph Ziegler, the two of the IRS whistleblowers. Why did Weiss let the statute of limitations run out when they even had a deal in place to extend them as it relates to Hunter's tax problems? Because that made no sense to any of these guys. They went into chapter, verse, and detail about all the special treatment that was given to Hunter Biden in these cases, things they'd never seen before in their life, interference by the FBI and the DOJ and U.S. attorneys. They've been calling for a special counsel, but they're the ones saying that David Weiss lied to them, or is lying now. We need to get to the truth about that. But with this appointment, that seems to be protecting Garland, Weiss, and, of course, Joe Biden and Hunter Biden. It's pretty unbelievable. Garland still will not frame this as anything other than Hunter. And we're now looking at a much bigger story here, and that is the Joe Biden bribery and money laundering scandal allegations. That's what this has now evolved into. Now it's going to be more difficult for these committees to get answers from Weiss on his own conflicting testimony and his own conflicting words. Two weeks ago, the DOJ said, Weiss can testify in September. Now every answer is going to be, sorry, but that's an ongoing investigation. A special counsel, I can't answer that. It's pretty unbelievable. Anyway, we're following all the news as it's breaking here today. But the one other piece of news is that the Biden DOJ, they really had no choice after the judge called them out in that hearing where Hunter was they thought the judge would sign off on the sweetheart deal they were offering Hunter. Now Hunter will, in fact, be headed to trial. And also the House Oversight Committee is going to subpoena Biden and his family over foreign business deals. And that is a big development. And we're following other news as well. The White House now mum on Hunter Biden's special prosecutor. Big surprise there. Anyway, joining us to talk about this and a bunch of other stuff, we have Senator Tom Cotton from the great state of Arkansas. Hey, Senator, how are you?
Hey, Sean, I'm doing well. It's great to be on with you.
How are those Razorbacks looking for you this year?
Well, hopefully they're going to improve over last year. We've been moving in the right direction. But SEC is always a tough conference, as you know.
Oh, you kidding? It's the toughest. I mean, you got every tough school down there. All right, let's get your overarching view of all of this here, because so much information is now broken. And I got to tell you something. This now stinks to high heaven. The development this week, $20 million described in specificity and detail, going to Hunter Biden, Jim Biden, Haley Biden, the grandchildren, being dispersed all over the place. From our top geopolitical foes like China and Russia and Romania. And then we have the whole issue of Ukraine and Burisma and that whole deal, which I'll ask separately about. And all the money's turned over and all the changing narrative from Joe Biden himself. I just want to get your overall general thoughts on this. You are a lawyer. I believe you went to Harvard, if I'm not mistaken.
I did, Sean, but I was such a bad lawyer, I had to leave and join the Army after a couple of years of practice. But I don't think it takes a law degree to appreciate, as you say, how this all stinks to high heaven. Joe Biden has had shifting explanations over the years from, I never talked to my son about business, even on a 13-hour flight to China when he conducted business, to now saying I was never in business with my son. And that's obviously because the evidence has now contradicted what Joe Biden said. You got his son's former business partner, Devin Archer, saying that he was involved in at least 20 different phone calls or meetings or dinners. But don't worry, the Democrats say he wasn't selling access to his father. Hunter was only selling the illusion of access. Well, Sean, I don't even know what that means. If you're the richest woman in Russia and you give Hunter Biden millions of dollars and all of a sudden you find yourself at dinner in a swank Washington, D.C. restaurant, that sounds like access to me. Like, do we really expect Joe Biden to be involved in the actual transaction of influence peddling or selling of favors, or just the fact that he calls into the meetings or that he sits down over dinner as a way for Hunter to show I can deliver the goods from my dad, the sitting vice president of the United States? And none of this, again, has been especially complicated. It's not been hidden. It's very mysterious to me why David Weiss, the U.S. attorney for the last 5 years in Delaware, took so long to file even the misdemeanor charges in that sweetheart plea deal that he filed that was exposed by a judge in Delaware as attempting to exonerate Hunter for every single crime he might ever possibly face for related to those business dealings. And now, all of a sudden, Merrick Garland decides to make him a special counsel. Well, why is that necessary now after 5 years? Why wasn't it previously necessary? Why is the first act after becoming a special counsel to file a motion to dismiss the charges against Hunter Biden, saying he's going to bring them in a different venue? It sounds to me like maybe they're shopping for a friendlier judge who won't ask such probing questions, who might be willing to rubber stamp the sweetheart plea deal that David Weiss was willing to give to Hunter Biden. I have to say, if you read those...
Well, that's an interesting take on it, but it's, look, Greg Jarrett pointed out, although he rightly also pointed out, or I believe John Solomon had pointed out, that the AG's not supposed to, as per regulations, put somebody within the government in these positions as special counsel. He's supposed to choose somebody outside the federal government, according to 28 CFR 600.3, although John Solomon rightly points out that was the case with Durham, as he was an attorney within the government at the time he was appointed by Bill Barr, so there is precedent for that. However, I think that considering that he has questions about his veracity in this case and has been challenged by real and credible whistleblowers, that Weiss is not the guy that should have been chosen. He seems like he's conflicted in this case.
Yeah, I think, Sean, those are very good points. There is precedent for this, but as you say, David Weiss, after dragging this out for 5 years, after trying to sneak through a sweetheart plea deal, is not the right person to go forward with this special counsel position. I mean, contrast that to what Merrick Garland did with Donald Trump. The special counsel he appointed was Jack Smith, a rabid zealot, a man who in his past has pursued a Republican former governor of Virginia on untested novel legal theories. And he did get a jury to convict Bob McDonnell in that case, and the Supreme Court reversed him unanimously. Yet that's who Merrick Garland chose to pursue the former president. This is a man who reminds me of what Stalin's head of secret police once said: if you show me the man, I'll show you the crime. And I think that bears out in the indictment he's just filed against the former president. By contrast, you have a U.S. attorney who, although he was nominated by Donald Trump, just let me inform all your viewers or all your listeners, that cannot happen without the support of the two Democratic senators from Delaware, Joe Biden's home state. Senators have an absolute veto over U.S. attorneys in their home state.
So Donald Trump, it was really not a Trump appointment.
It was, U.S. attorneys are always the prerogative of the senators. We can't force the president to nominate someone, but we can absolutely block any nominee that a president puts forward. So it's not like, this guy was a diehard MAGA hat-wearing Republican. No, he is someone who is acceptable to, remember, Joe Biden's two senators.
Well, and that's the rule. Let me go back to the most, I think, glaring example of wrongdoing here. And because this is what they're going to have us to believe. Now, we do know, and maybe I'm putting too much emphasis on this, but I think it's very relevant because the question of what did Hunter Biden do for all of the money that all of these countries, many adversarial countries, were paying him and his business associates and Biden family members and even the grandchildren. What did he do? What services were offered? Devin Archer gave us some insight as they were paying for the brand, and the brand was really an illusion. Then you take the case of Burisma, which I think is the most obvious case because Joe implicates himself. I leveraged $1 billion. I gave them 6 hours. Son of a bee, they fired that prosecutor. The one that turned out was investigating the company, Burisma, the oil and gas giant in Ukraine, that was paying his very own son millions. Obviously, that began the process of Joe, leveraging that $1 billion, getting the prosecutor fired. And one of the consequences of that firing was Hunter Biden continued to be enriched. He stayed on the Burisma board for a long period of time, getting paid for something he went on national television and admitted he had no experience in.
Yeah, Sean, when you lay out the timeline, I think it speaks for itself. Let's contrast Hunter Biden and Burisma to just your ordinary corporate executive in America on a board. Any kind of blue chip company, let's say it's News Corp or Procter & Gamble or Apple, board members in those companies who are almost always highly distinguished, experienced business executives, they may make somewhere from $100,000 to $300,000 a year with a little bit of stock as well. Hunter Biden was getting $1 million a year from a Ukrainian oil company. He knows nothing about Ukraine. He knows nothing about oil, but he was making 3 to 10 times what highly experienced business executives in America make in American companies. Obviously, this was done to gain influence and access to Joe Biden, the sitting vice president of the United States, and it paid off as well. If you look what happened, you say, with the prosecutor who was pursuing Burisma. Now, is there going to be audio tape of Hunter Biden and Joe Biden sitting down with one of these oligarchs and saying, we're paying you this money so you can do this for us? Probably not, but that doesn't have to be. All it takes, as one Democrat said, is the illusion of access, which is, of course, access in itself. For Hunter Biden to then go around saying, you need to do this, that, or the other thing, otherwise there's going to be problems with Washington for you.
Oh, what else did they mean when they said they needed D.C. help, right?
Yeah, I can't imagine what they meant, Sean. It wasn't like from the Washington Nationals. They weren't trying to get tickets to a baseball game. Obviously what they meant is they wanted help from Joe Biden and Joe Biden's wide network of influencers and politicians and operatives in Washington. Remember, Joe Biden's been in Washington for 50 years. And it's not just as vice president that his son, and for that matter, his sister and his brother and his extended family was trading on his public office.
All right, quick break. More with Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton on the other side.
Every journey can use an experienced guide, and your educational journey is no different. At Arizona State University, we're with you from day one to graduation and beyond. Our 300-plus programs are designed specifically for online learning, with state-of-the-art technology and personalized support services to empower your success. Find your next journey at ASU, ranked #1 in innovation for 8 consecutive years. Visit us at asuonline.asu.edu to learn more. Continue your journey at Arizona State University. Choose from more than 300 programs offered online from the nation's most innovative university. Connect with an enrollment advisor to learn about transferring credits and financial aid options. Visit asuonline.asu.edu.
All right, we continue with Senator Tom Cotton. Great state of Arkansas is with us. Let me change topics on you while I have you. And, apparently there's going to be a deal of the U.S. under Biden paying ransom for hostages being held in Iran and $6 billion. John Kirby had claimed that money, I don't have time to play it now, is going to be used in this prisoner deal was set up by the Trump administration. And somehow he says this is not a ransom payment. Sounds like a ransom payment to me. Where I grew up, that would be called ransom. What do you call it?
Sean, obviously this is a ransom payment. It's a craven act of appeasement. I mean, of course we welcome home Americans who are wrongfully detained anywhere in the world, but we should be clear-eyed about what's going to happen here. This is going to encourage Iran and other enemies to take more Americans hostages because they see that it pays. And what we're doing is giving them irreversible concessions. There's no way we're ever going to get that $6 billion back. There's no way we're going to ever get the duly convicted Iranians in American prisons back into this country. They may release the current hostages, though, but they can easily reverse their promises and just take another set of hostages. Remember, Barack Obama paid ransom to get hostages out in that era, yet here they are with more hostages in the future. All we're doing is rewarding and encouraging them to take more hostages. And that $6 billion is not going to go, Sean, to support widows and orphans in Iran. It's going to go to support attacks on our troops, to fund terrorism, to support attacks on Israel, to arm Iran, or to arm Russia. That's what that money is going to go for. So this is a shameful and craven act of appeasement.
It really is a sad time in America. I will tell you, this coming election in November of 2024, I don't know. I view it as an inflection point for the country. We've got 30 seconds.
Yes, Sean. I mean, it could be all the marbles for us. If you look on the agenda that we have coming up in 2025 and the Trump tax cuts and the Biden spending binge blowing out, we want to be able to control the White House and the Senate and the House to set that agenda. If you look at what Joe Biden has done using executive power to try to change America down to its roots, or the way the progressive left views America as rotten to its core and not worthy of respect and honor. So I agree with you. It is an absolutely vital election that we win next November.
All right. Appreciate you being with us. Senator Tom Cotton, Arkansas. Have a great weekend, sir. Good luck to your Razorbacks this year. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, Sean.
800-941-SEAN, our number. We'll get to your calls. Final half hour of the program coming up.
Breaking news straight from the source. This is the Sean Hannity Show.
25 to the top of the hour this Friday. Thank you for being with us. 800-941-SEAN, our number. You want to be a part of the program. Your call's coming up in mere seconds, I promise. I don't know what day next week, but, if you want to start getting on the list, the Hate Hannity hotline list, it's so hard to actually get these calls in real time. But if you really hate my guts and wish I wasn't on the air and just really despise everything I say, everything I stand for, we're going to find an hour just for callers like you. Okay? So you can call in and get your name on the list, 800-941-SEAN. We'd really like to hear from you. And I'm not looking for people to defend me. People that may, I just disagree with you on this. No. People that hate me and think I'm dangerous and have no business being on the air. Those people. There's a lot of you out there that hate listen to this show and hate watch my TV show. I want to remind you the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been supporting America's heroes, their families, since September 11th, 2001, like Franklin, Tennessee police officer Jeffrey Carson and his family. Now, Officer Carson, he left a very successful career in country music behind in order to serve his community. Spent 14 years with the Franklin Police Department, and very sadly, he suffered a fatal heart attack in the line of duty in 2022. Now, within weeks, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation met with Officer Carson's wife and son to let them know that they'd never have to worry about their mortgage ever again. This is what the foundation does when a first responder dies in the line of duty, leaves a young family behind. Well, Tunnel to Towers is there to take care of them, but only because of your generosity. And they have helped hundreds of first responder families across the country, removing that burden of a mortgage only because of your support. We hope you'll join us in their mission. And they're asking all of us, and Team Hannity's totally committed, to pledge $11 a month. You can do it by going to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org for the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. All right. We've been following this. I can tell you right now, we've been working on this all day, and that is the Joe Biden bribery, money laundering, criminal enterprise allegations. And we're going to break it all down very carefully tonight with every bit of tape to prove the point. And how this appointment today is nothing other than a complete sham, a farce, part of the Biden protection program that he had ever since he was running for president. Anyway, let us say hi to Joe in Miami. Joe, hi. How are you? Glad you called.
Okay, I'm very good. Yeah, I want to discuss with you about the debate. I think it's November 8th with DeSantis. And with
yes, November 8th. We haven't officially announced it, but that looks like that's going to be the date. And Gavin Newsom, yes.
Yeah, isn't this historical? I don't remember ever a debate between a candidate and non-candidate.
Well, it's not a presidential debate. This debate is about red versus blue. This is about, California policies versus Florida policies. Which state, let Americans see two competing visions, have them presented before them, and then decide what they think would work best in their state. I think it's going to be very, very, very informative.
Yeah. Well,
I'm sure very entertaining and very lively.
Yeah, I was a big DeSantis supporter, I'd say 6 months ago or a year ago. I voted for him twice for governor. But lately, with some of the things going on with Disney and woke, I'm not so enthralled with him anymore, if you know what I mean.
I think he's done a great job as governor. I really do. For the people of Florida, I think he's done a terrific job. You're down in Miami. You can see the difference in your state. Is a reason people are migrating there. Nearly 1,000 new residents a day. They're flocking to the free state of Florida. They're flocking to the free state of Texas and the free state of Tennessee and the free state of South and North Carolina. They're just headed there in droves, these states, because the economic conditions, less taxes, less burdensome regulation. I think there's a reason people are leaving states like New York, New Jersey, Illinois, California. I believe their policies are chasing them away.
Humidity down here this year, it's been bad. I'm sure you've heard about it.
I know. I've heard all about it. My daughter was playing a tournament outside down there. I guess it was last weekend. And let me tell you something. She wasn't complaining, but it was 115 degrees on the field. Let's put it that way. Not good.
Yeah, well, the heat and humidity. So anyway, it'll be November 8th, probably, right? You're moderating it. And there will be...
It looks like November 8th. There will be what? A
live audience.
We're working out all those details. Okay. I don't have an official announcement yet, but I'm just giving a little tease. That's what we're looking at. Date, location, that is on the final checklist. It's been signed off on by both sides. So I think we have full agreement on that, but there's a lot of details you got to work out. So, and they have busy schedules. So, I'm just going to plow through and we'll get this finished. I believe it's going to happen.
Okay, that's good. It'll be in prime time, right? In the evening, I guess.
Yes, sir. Okay. Hey. Stay tuned when we make an official announcement, all right?
Okay, thanks very much.
All right, appreciate you being with us. Bill in California. Bill, how are you? Glad you called. How do you like the idea of your governor debating Governor DeSantis?
Hi, Mr. Hannity. By the way, bad news. You're not hateable.
Linda, am I hateable? Katie, how many people call and curse you out on a regular basis?
I think it depends on how hungry you are.
All right. Are you done with that bit was yesterday? Are we done with the
I don't know.
The grilled cheese with ham bit? Are we done with that?
We got a lot of recipes, I'll tell you that.
Did you find any sourdough in your house?
I did not find sourdough in my house, but you guys make me out to be a monster. Name one other boss that buys lunch every day, anything that you want for lunch. And takes care of everybody at Christmas. That's my way of being a nice boss, okay? And treats everybody well every day.
Oh, my God. You're taking it so serious. It's not fun. We're just trying to have a little fun on a Friday.
Man, you had a lot of fun yesterday. Anyway, Bill, back to you. Sorry.
Well, yeah, you asked about Gavin Newsom. This guy, I know a lot of people think he's going to jump into the race. Good luck. This guy's a walking disaster. He's just a jargon-speaking gas bag. So I'd love to see DeSantis just rip apart.
Well, I mean, Gavin, look, I've interviewed him. I've known him for a lot of years. Personally, I will say he's a very likable person. His policies, wow. I mean, they're so far out there. We are such polar opposites politically. It's mind-numbing to me. However, I do think it's important for the country to understand where one side is coming from and the other side is coming from, and then the country has a clear choice of the direction that they want to choose to bring their states and the country. So that's why I think it's a very worthwhile exercise. I hope you agree with me.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's the purpose of a news organization, is to let both sides or many sides have their say, and more power to you for doing that. I don't have a problem with letting people that are wrong make fools of themselves. So go for it.
Appreciate the call, Bill. Have a great weekend. Charlie in California, another California call. How do you like the idea of the debate?
I think it's a great idea. Gavin Newsom, what is his motto going to be? Make America California? I don't think that's going to fly.
Well, again, he's not look, I pushed him hard when I interviewed him if he's going to jump in this race, and he was adamant that he's not. But I think we might hit a point. I mean, imagine Joe Biden had a really bad fall. I think dominoes would start tipping over, and there'd be a domino effect, and Democrats would defect from Joe and be looking for an alternative. And I think Gavin would be on probably everyone's short list. And I think Gavin would be way ahead of Kamala Harris. So, or for example, the bribery, money laundering, Joe Biden bribery, money laundering scandal allegations. Look at all the information that's coming out. If this hits the main artery of the political bloodstream in this country at the right time, Democrats may say he's in too much trouble to run him. We need to get him out. I could see that happening also.
Yeah, I was having a great Friday. I'm going to play golf later, in a tournament. I'm all excited. And then I see this special counsel, David Weiss, get appointed, and I'm beyond frustrated. I'm, kind of worried about America, but I actually called in to ask you a different question, if I may.
Yes.
Earlier in the week, I heard it was either on Dan Bongino or Mark Levin's radio show. I listen, to you guys religiously every day. And they were talking about the Hunter Biden, the cocaine found in the White House, and there was a leak that the Secret Service wanted to save face, so they told someone that they knew who it was in the Biden family orbit, and they informed the president. So if you want to know who it is, go ask the president. But I never saw any more about that. I know you have a lot of connections and influential people. Did you hear about this story, or any word of this? Is it true or not?
Which part do you want to know if it's true?
Well, I'm pretty sure it was Hunter Biden's cocaine, but did the Secret Service find out who it was and inform the president?
I don't know. I think it was Guns and Ammo that had reported that. I don't know if that's true or not. However, to me, that's just another typical Biden administration cover-up. The idea that after 10 days, they just close out the investigation and throw their hands up, and we can't find out who brought cocaine into the White House. What if that white powder happened to be anthrax? The president of the United States lives and works there. We can't have, mysterious powders showing up in our White House. I don't care who the president is. We got to protect our presidents. This is insanity to me. What if it was fentanyl laced? You have instances where cops just handle fentanyl and will unwittingly ingest some of it. And the next thing you know, they're on the ground, going into cardiac arrest and need Narcan to be saved by their fellow officers. There's been a number of cases like that. I mean, the idea that they gave up so quickly is just inexplicable and unconscionable to me. And I think they did it because they're protecting the Biden family yet again. Same old story, Charlie. Thanks for the call. Good luck in your tournament today, all right? Hit them straight.
I'll try.
All right, buddy. Let's say hi to Tom in Tennessee. What's up, Tom? How are you? Glad you called.
Hey, Sean, how are you?
I'm good. What's going on?
I have two questions for you. I have a question on the Joe Biden scandal. Why does Joe continue to lie to us? Why does Joe continue to lie to us when he had no knowledge of his son's...
Why does anybody lie? Why do your kids lie to you? Like, for example, I used to say to my kids, you say to a kid, I'll use a generic example. I'd say, all right, you tell a kid, don't eat the cookie. This used to be a bit by Bill Cosby. Then all of a sudden the kid, gets a chair, climbs up, pulls out cookies. He's got chocolate chip cookies all over his face. And then you ask the child, did you eat the cookie? No, I didn't eat the cookie. Really? Well, where did all that chocolate chip come on your face? He goes, no, I wanted to get a cookie for you. I mean, kids are not good liars. They lie to get out of trouble. Politicians lie to get out of trouble. I did not have sex with that woman, not a single time. I got to get back to the business of American people. Why did Bill Clinton lie? To get out of trouble. Why is Joe lied about this? Because he knows this is nothing but trouble for him. And the media protects him. Up to now, this has not hit the main artery of the political apparatchik, if you will, in this country. The mob and the media has up till now protected him, and they'll try to continue to protect him. That makes sense?
Right, it does. And why does Joe knows he lied to his son? Excuse me, he lied to us, we the people, for years and years and years.
Correct.
Come clean about.
And the media still protects him. And they say after this week's revelation by the Oversight Committee, oh, see, Joe didn't get paid directly. These allegations are false.
He did get paid directly, and his son made $664,000 in a Chinese firm, equity firm, and he knows
lied about that too.
And his son's business partners came to the White House, and they all spoke to Joe about this. And Joe's lying to you and to everyone else.
Anyone with eyes can see, just like I used to say to my kids, stop insulting my intelligence. You're not good at it.
Right, exactly.
Joe's not a good liar. And the media knows it. Now it's a matter of if they'll turn on him. Right. Anyway, appreciate the call. I got to get another quick call in here. CJ, North Carolina. What's up, CJ?
Hey, yes, sir, Sean. I have a big question. How come no one has moved forward to try to get the attorney who was fired on the Burisma case?
I mean the prosecutor, yeah.
Yeah, the prosecutor. How come?
Victor Shokin, he has been interviewed. John Solomon's interviewed him, and he's been interviewed, I believe, by the Washington Post and by ABC at one point. I had a scheduled interview with him, and I've really never talked about the whole story, but a series of events happened the night before my scheduled interview that we thought just postponed it, but it ended up not happening. But I'll go back and pursue that. I think that's definitely worthwhile at this point to bring back in.
Okay, that was my question. Thank you so much, because I'm just worried the guy's not alive anymore.
Well, he's on the record because I know that Solomon has that interview, and of course he'll share everything with us. Anyway, appreciate the call. Have a good weekend. Hey, maybe you think things are okay with the economy now. All right, bank failures, we haven't had one in a while. Inflation, well, it went back up this month, but it had been going down. The stock market, okay, has been doing pretty good. Here's what you're not being told. Commercial real estate, that might ignite the next banking crisis. We don't know where we're going to get hit next. Inflation could ramp back up due to a number of factors. Skyrocketing payments on our national debt. You know what? That could send shockwaves through the world's financial system. What does it mean for your retirement savings? I don't know. Ever since I've been able to save money, I've taken a portion of my savings and diversified my investments, and I've always purchased gold and silver. And that's where Goldco comes in. I did a lot of research. They're a great company, top rated, with an excellent reputation. If you like me and you want to put a percentage of your portfolio in gold and silver, anyway, call Goldco today. You're going to like this company, 855-815-GOLD, G-O-L-D. They'll send you a free wealth protection kit. Also, up to $10,000 in free silver for listeners to the show available. Do it now. Goldco, 855-815-GOLD, 855-815-GOLD.
Breaking news today and tomorrow. Don't miss one day. This is the Sean Hannity Show.
All right, that's going to wrap things up for today. We've got full complete. We're going to lay out the entire Joe Biden bribery and money laundering scandal allegations for you in great specificity and detail. All the news ramifications of Garland's appointment of David Weiss. I mean, it is so self-serving and such a farce and such a sham. It's unbelievable. Now, we've got Judge Janine. We've got Jonathan Turley. We've got Alan Dershowitz, Greg Jarrett, John Solomon. We've got everybody. And we're going to, and also Peter Schweitzer. 9 Eastern, set your DVR, Hannity, Fox News. You're not going to want to miss tonight's show, but set your DVR for every night, 9 Eastern on the Fox News channel. All right, see you tonight, 9 o'clock. Back here tomorrow. Thank you for being with us. We'll have a lot of news on Monday as well.
Some people take the straight path in life. But at Arizona State University, we respect your twists and turns. They make our online students more driven to excel in their professional lives. That's why our personalized suite of services empowers you with innovative resources and staff that sticks with you. Make your next turn with one of our 300-plus programs at ASU. #1 in innovation for 8 consecutive years. Visit us at asuonline.asu.edu to learn more.